This DIY is sponsored by Skillshare. Happy Friday. Welcome to the DIY Designer. Man, you guys, I am struggling. Is anybody else struggling? It is week 3 of this quarantine. I thought for sure by now I would click into some kind of new way of being, and I am not. Trying to work from home, trying to actually do a DIY, film the DIY and edit with 2 kids at home who are rambunctious and cooped up in the house all day, so they're arguing all the time when we've got homeschooling and I don't have any childcare, and my husband is working full time, which, woof, thank God for that. But man, I could use a little help around the house. I'm losing it. But good news. I did get this DIY done and it is killer. I am so excited for you guys to see this one. We are going to be making custom painted sneakers. Now, this is so cool because you guys can run to your closet right this second, grab a pair of sneakers that are tired and sad and lame looking, and you can not only refresh them, but you can make them totally custom and totally one of a kind. I wanted to show you guys 2 different versions. One are the Balenciaga sneakers, which I'm totally obsessed with. They're so cool and I love all the color combination. I picked this version here, which is these really soft muted colors. I just think they're so cool. But then I wanted to do one all over one. So I used these bright orange Fila sneakers as the inspo for the second. Normally I don't give you guys a sneak peek at my finished project until the end because I like that lame moment of me on the street. It's my big reveal. But today I'm actually gonna show you because I learned something new in Photoshop. I'm so excited. So you guys know that I've been doing the Photoshop course in Skillshare, and it is so cool. So this week I learned how to remove the background of an image. So I'm able to remove the background and I can put a beautiful crisp white background, which is really perfect for thumbnails or really for anything. You can put other backgrounds and stuff, but for now I just played around with the white. I also learned how to change the color of something. So this is really fun. You can see the all over orange shoe. I can completely change the color, make them any color I want, or I can isolate one color and just change that one singular color. So this is super fun and really useful and really gonna up my photo game. So for those of you guys that are stuck at home, which is pretty much all of you, this is the perfect time. The first 500 of you that click that link down below are gonna get 2 months free, which is absolutely amazing. Hopefully this doesn't last 2 months, but if it does, by the time it's over, you'll know and have a brand new skill set. So if you don't get the 2 months free, it's $10 a month for all of those thousands of courses. They're such a good company, and right now is the perfect time to learn something new. So I hope that you guys enjoy it. Let's get right into the DIY. All right, here are my white sneakers. Now I forgot to do a material shop, but that's okay. I'll just call things out as we go. They are bright white, totally plain, but not for long. Okay, we're gonna get started. Now, the very first color I chose to do was Angelus's leather paint in the pale pink. That's the first section I'm gonna do. If your shoes are not leather, no problem. You guys can go ahead and use a fabric paint or even acrylic paint. Something you have on hand will be fine, but leather paint by Angelus is amazing. So I'm using a flat, wide brush, and I found that it was really nice to kind of work with all the edges of the shoe. Now you can see on my particular shoe, it's multiple sections layered on top of each other, which actually made it very easy because it's essentially just coloring within the lines. So you want to decide which sections are going to be which color and then just stay within the lines of your shoe. It's time to do that yellow tone, and if you notice that your paint doesn't match, get to mixing. So I added a drop of orange into my yellow to make it more of the sun yellow of the Balenciaga sneakers, which were my inspo. You can see that I switched out to a slightly smaller brush because all of these sections were smaller. Now, if you don't have a really steady hand or you're not used to painting, I'd recommend trying to tape off as many sections of your shoe as possible. That way you're guaranteed to keep it clean. Now, one thing I want to call out is you can see because there's 2 pieces of leather layered on top of each other, where the leather is cut, you see that edge. You do not want that edge to stay white. So whether you're painting it yellow or painting it pink, you want to pick one of the colors and just push against it until everything that was white becomes the color of one of your leathers. Now it's time to do this sort of black section all across the top. So I'm going in, I picked which section I wanted to be black, and again, I'm just painting within the lines. If you accidentally get paint somewhere, make sure that you're keeping acetone and a little washcloth on hand so that you can get to it super fast. If you get to it fast, you should be fine, and acetone will work really well. Now, if you look at the inspo shoe, you can see that what was black is actually more of like a charcoaly, like dusty gray. So I added a little bit of white into my paint and repainted all of the black. Now that's fine because we're actually doing multiple coats of paint on all of them. For the leather part of your shoe, I recommend doing a minimum of 3 coats of paint and then finishing it off with either Angelus's acrylic finisher, or you can use the sealant that we're about to use for the sole. Now you can see on the Balenciaga shoe, it has this really cool like red ribbon tab in the back. My shoes have a tab, but it's not red. So all I'm doing is just painting it red. It's gonna match with the rest of the shoe because I'm using the same leather paint. It's gonna dry a little bit lighter. So just like everything else, this is gonna require a couple of coats of paint to be super saturated. But once it's done, it looks really fantastic. Okay, do you see on this yellow section how those little holes got kind of clogged with paint? You wanna make sure that you grab a pin and sort of open them up so that the holes exist. If they stay clogged, it's a dead giveaway that it's been painted. Okay, I moved outside because my kids are swimming and you know, what are you gonna do? We are going to go on to the soft section of our shoes, and you wanna make sure to mix Angelus's soft fabric medium at a 1-to-1 ratio with your paint. I wanna do a super, super pale gray, so I did a good amount of white with just a dash of gray and then did a 1-to-1 ratio of my Angelus soft medium. That's because this mesh part is a softer material. I wanna make sure it stays that way. You would also do this for the inside of your shoe if you're changing the entire inside. Now, what I decided to do was buff it in really lightly. I only wanna paint the top layer of that mesh and not the inside. On the orange one that I'm gonna do later, you'll see I press down to saturate the inside. I don't do that here. Just a light little buffing just to get the top, and that's it. Now guys, the midsole, listen and pay attention because this is the most important part. You need an adhesion promoter. Everything is linked below. You wanna take that adhesion promoter, do light coats, 1 light coat on the entire sole and on the bottom. You can tape off the rest of your shoe if you want, but I noticed it wasn't really a problem for mine. Let that dry for 5 to 7 minutes and do a second coat. Now I am mixing the custom color for the base of my sole, but basically you wanna make sure that if it's a custom color, you mix enough for both shoes and multiple coats of both shoes because it will be very hard to match. Now, my particular shoe has all these really cool like shapes and kind of pop outs, which made it really easy because all I had to do is decide what color I wanted those pop outs and then again, paint within the lines. So I didn't have to have quite as steady a hand because you can see I'm basically just painting what's been raised. However, there are multiple coats here and I'm about to show you a graphic, but I need to do 3 coats just to start 3 coats of everything I painted. So I'm only showing you 1 coat, but once this base layer is done, I paint it 3 more times. 3 more of the black, 3 more of the red, and 3 more of the beige. Now this is the process to make sure that your midsoles stay painted. You do 2 coats of that adhesion promoter, letting it dry 5 to 7 minutes in between each one. Then you do 3 coats of your paint. If it's all one color, multiple colors, whatever it is, 3 coats of paint. Then 3 coats of the sealer, 2 coats of paint, 3 coats of the sealer, 1 coat of paint, and 3 coats of the sealer, which is this right here. I have it linked below. It's by Orly Restorations. You want to do really light, thin coats of the sealer. It's going to go on like a soft white, and then you're going to heat set it. But you want to do multiple coats that are really thin. Heat set it. What is white will turn clear, and that's when you know it's dry. Then do 2 more coats of the sealer. Once that's done, you go back in and you do 2 coats of your paint, right? 3 coats of sealer, 3 coats of paint, 2 coats of paint, 3 coats of sealer, 1 coat of paint, 3 coats of sealer. So the number of paint layers goes down, but the number of sealer coats is always 3. That's really how you're gonna make sure that this stays protected and doesn't scuff. So screenshot this if you have not already. This is the process for your midsole. Okay. I'm moving on to the orange one, and basically it's gonna be super quick. All I did is mix my fabric soft with my orange paint and painted all of my mesh sections first. I saturated it all the way through, that way you can't see the white coming through because I want them all orange. And now I'm just dipping directly into the paint to paint all the leather. You can see the difference between 1 coat and 3 coats. So you wanna do as many coats as is necessary on the top portion of your shoe, but follow the same directions for your midsole. 2 coats of adhesion promoter, 3 coats of paint, then 3 coats of sealer, 2 coats of paint, 3 coats of sealer, 1 coat of paint, and finish it with 3 coats of sealer. Make sure all those sealers are super thin layers and that you use your blow dryer and heat set them. I ran out of orange paint, so I painted the bottoms of these black, but again, the same thing applies to the bottom of your shoe. So if you are painting the bottom, just know that you're taking on that much more work because you've got to do all those sealer coats. Now, I didn't have the ability, obviously, to run to a sneaker shop and buy orange laces because everything is closed. So I just painted mine. I wanted to make sure to use the fabric soft medium with the orange paint. That way it stays soft. Now, I would screenshot this as well. These are my most important tips after what I learned, things you definitely want to keep in mind. Okay, guys, so that's it. If I could do it all over again, what I would say is I would have gone to buy regular orange laces. I can't really go out and shop for that right now, and I don't want to buy them online without being able to double check the color. So the painting does leave like a weird film on it. So it looks good, but it doesn't feel great. So if you guys could get your hands on some matching laces, that's what I would recommend. But otherwise, I can't wait for you guys to see how these look. Make sure that you screenshotted that order so that when you do this, you will have that sitting on your computer. And I'm gonna go model them and show you how they came out. I'm obsessed with them. I love them so much. Thanks for being here, guys. If you like this video, please comment down below. Let me know which sneaker you liked more. Share it with a friend, and subscribe to the channel if you aren't already. All right, guys, I will see you next week, hopefully in a better mood. Okay, bye.